of King 5, who again is battling. He's battling. He's under the weather here, aren't you, sir?
Well, I've been traveling, Puck. I was up in beautiful Edmonton, Canada. A lot of people were wondering why I was up there for the Oilers series. I was actually up there for my son, who's now playing for the Edmonton Riverhawks. It's a
Yeah.
summer league team. You can see I'm representing that today
Yeah.
with my Riverhawks gear. Uh, Puckett, I've had some moments through I've been a youth volunteer sports coach for 23 years now. That was probably the most intense moment of my entire life this past Wednesday.
Yeah.
It is Kids Day in Edmonton. So they bring all the kids from the entire school districts of Edmonton to this Riverhawks baseball game. 8,000 people watching this summer league game.
Come on.
The Riverhawks are down 3-0 early. The starting pitcher's struggling. And all of a sudden, we see number 2, Austin Egan, warming up. My wife's already had one Bloody Mary. At that point, she says, I got to get another one. Because he's going in front of 8,000 screaming kids.
Right.
I've never been more nervous in my life,
Not.
but more proud at the same time. It was so cool to see your kid not only pitch in front of that environment, but to pitch well, gets him out of the jam, pitches a flawless second inning, a flawless third inning, pitches into the fourth, doesn't give up any runs. They pull him out of there. The 8,000 kids are screaming as he exits the field. They now have the lead. The next thing we know, he's signing autographs. Kids are throwing them their bat. No, I can't even make this stuff up.
Wait a minute. So Austin, wait, hold on. He's signing autographs.
He signed more autographs at this game, Puck, than I probably have in my 23 years at King 5 TV. I mean, it was absolutely these kids. I don't know if these kids know who he is, but they wanted his autograph. It was so cool. But you realize, and I give a lot of credit to Edmonton and how they treat the Summer League baseball team. This is part of the West Coast League. There's other great teams in Bellingham and Walla Walla. Wenatchee has a team. Port Angeles, Victoria, BC. It's a great league. But it's Kids Day, so the mascots are out there. And you realize how big of a hockey town Edmonton is when the Oilers mascot comes onto the field. It's like when you're born in Edmonton, you see your parents, and then you get a picture of an Edmonton Oiler mascot. Because I have never seen anything like 8,000 kids just screaming, and then he does this little, "Let's go Oilers." I mean, it is. I'm excited for the Kraken as they make a run and more people in the Pacific Northwest become hockey fans, because being up in Edmonton during a Stanley Cup Finals, and yes, they're down 0-3. They lost a heartbreaker on Thursday night, but that is 100% a hockey town. It was cool to see.
Okay, this is the live version. It's the first live version of the Daily Puck Drop here at pucksports.com. Also on Twitter, X. We got to call it X, right?
X, yeah.
At 2040. That is Chris Egan, who normally joins me later. We tape this later, but we said, hey, let's do it live today. Let's do a full frontal Friday nude show. Ryan Divish is going to come up later, but this is the Daily Puck Drop. We do it every single day. It will be podcasted later for all of those who may miss it. Well, you're not missing it now because you're watching it live. Chris, his weekly appearance is brought to you by Fat Zach's Pizza. He loves himself some Fat Zach's Pizza. Maybe not right now because Chris is a little under the weather, but Fat Zach's Pizza brings you Chris's weekly appearance. They got 3 great locations, Chris, down in your neck of the woods: Sumner, downtown Puyallup, South Hill, home of the original no big deal pickle pizza. You can also book 3 of their food trucks for catering, birthday parties, graduations, corporate events. Voted Best of the Sound 2 years in a row for best pizza. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, and of course, FatZachsPizza.com. All right. How are you feeling, though? For those who are just joining us here on Twitter, and also we're on YouTube, by the way, as well. We're on YouTube there as well. You can go check it out there as well. How you feeling? A little under the weather? Caught a bug?
I think I caught a bug. It's the travel bug. Maybe we didn't. Maybe we should have upgraded for a nicer hotel. I'm not going to take any shots at hotels, but
go ahead if they're not a sponsor yet. So
maybe we should upgrade and got a nicer hotel. And then you sit and watch 3 days of baseball. 2 days it was raining. And one day, I'm not joking, the wife talked me to go to the West Edmonton Mall, which is one of the biggest malls in North America. And this mall is so big, Puck. It has an ice rink in it. It's got like a pirate ship. It's huge.
It's like Mall of America.
It's gigantic. And we come out of the mall, and it is just pouring rain. And they're talking about, like, in Edmonton, if you don't know that country, it's kind of like it's farm country. It's plains, a lot of farmland, flatland. So they're talking possible flooding because it's thunderstorms, it's lightning, it's massive amounts of rain. So we want to know if the Riverhawks are going to be playing that night. And no joke, I'm circling back to how big of a hockey town this is. We turn on the local news there, and it's some of the worst weather I've seen. Now, if you're in Seattle, this is big storm. This is snowpocalypse. This is Jim Foreman up in the past. This is
the Yellow Jackets. You're telling me is the Yellow Jackets are coming out.
The Yellow Jackets would be out full force. So Mel's like, we got to turn on the local news. Is this weather front we're going to have a game tonight? I turn on the local news, and they lead with this. Massive storm coming into Edmonton. We'll get to that in a second. But let's begin with Ron so-and-so, a sports psychologist who joins us now. Ron, the Oilers are down 0-2. What should this city be feeling right now?
The city is gonna like flood away, and all they can care about is like how the Oilers doing.
They led with a sports psychologist on being down 0-2. Then they went into like practice plans. Then they went into an Oiler party. I think we were 15 minutes into the newscast before they mentioned the town was flooded.
Does that and that surprises you somehow?
Not anymore.
For that crowd in Edmonton and that hockey crowd, come on.
No, and so somewhere along the way, between the weather, the anxiety of watching your kid, the stress, the nerves, I got a little flu bug, and I actually had to cancel an Olympic shoot because could you imagine this, Puckett?
Yeah, that would be the best.
They're literally gearing up for the Olympic trials, and I'm supposed to be meeting with 6 Olympic athletes today that are all going to be heading down to Eugene for the track and field trials, which are coming up.
Local television anchor gets the entire Olympic team sick.
Yeah, so that one we just had to scratch that shoot today, and you and I are social distancing from our podcast, yeah, so I'll be fine. I'll toughen it through. But 2 graduations, one for my nephew at Puyallup tomorrow, and then my daughter, Puckett, getting her master's on Sunday from Portland State.
Wow, how about what is she getting her master's degree in?
In education. She wants to become a teacher and coach. And I threw that out there. I threw this out there because I feel like I'm safe to do it now. I never wanted to do this. And every kid has their own journey. Every kid has their own story. But I look back at her career, and, people told her early on she's got to go tennis. She's got to focus everything on tennis. We're like, no, she likes basketball, and she's a good runner. And so we would do this balance of doing 3 sports at a time, which I think is tough now. But I look back, 5 years of Division I tennis from Wazoo to Portland State, crazy travel, battling some of the best players from around the world. And I can finally say this without jinxing her. She never got hurt one time. Never got hurt one time. And I think I owe
like at any level,
any
never
level,
got an injury at all.
At any level. And we owe a lot of that, I think, to just being a multi-sport athlete. And like I said, every kid's different. But God, we see so many kids now, Puck. We see so many kids now just solely focused on one sport, and they're putting all their strength and energy in all these certain muscles. And I think, being a runner, a basketball player, a tennis player, it just kind of,
it helped everything.
I think it did. We can look back and finally say that, like, yeah, I think this worked.
Well, and I think the Egan household can finally admit to is the HGH did play a part.
It helped out a lot, yeah.
All right, this is that's Chris Egan. I'm Jason Puckett. You're wondering, like, where have I been if you're watching this live?
Yeah.
We've been here at pucksports.com. This is technically the Daily Puck Drop. Egan is along the ride for the Daily Puck Drop. Chris Egan joins the show every Friday, brought to you by the wonderful Fat Zach's Pizza. Again, 3 great locations down in the South End, Fat Zach's Pizza. Go check it out. Go check out Zach. Contact those guys. You want a catering, graduation parties, Fat Zach's Pizza. The Daily Puck Drop, which is episode 159.
Wow.
Right now, here is the Daily Puck Drop. All right? Let's get into it before we get into our normal Friday BS where we talk talk about whatever we want. And since we're recording this a little bit earlier, normally Chris has got a highball of Jack and Coke, but he's gone with the Starbucks iced coffee drink.
I need something to fire me up today,
Yeah,
buddy.
you do. The magic ended last night for the Mariners. They finally lost. They could not pull off the magic. Julio had the game-tying home run. It was just perfect that he hit the game-tying home run when I had questioned this week to Ryan Divish and then on social media. God, it just feels like every time he comes up in these situations, he never comes up with a big hit. And then bam. I mean, and I got attacked by these Julio Rodriguez fans.
Sure you did.
I mean, just murdering me. But I'm like, yeah, but he sometimes doesn't. He doesn't come through. Even though his numbers would suggest that he has a good batting average with like late and close, but they're all singles, like all of them. They're not big like home run hits like that. But he came through last night. It was great to see, but it sucked because they wasted it. They couldn't pull off the victory. So I texted Divish right away and I said, well, he doesn't get credit for the come from behind game-winning hit.
No, it wasn't. Didn't win. And, do you blame the Buhner buzz cuts? I mean, everything was going well. Then you decided to start cutting hair.
That was awesome. That was so cool that they brought it back. And you know what? Kudos to Cal Raleigh. I'll be honest, it kind of sucked. He was the only one from the team that volunteered to do it.
Well, Puck, would you do it?
Yeah.
You wouldn't care.
It's just going to grow back.
That's true.
Although
but you know what?
Did you see what Haniger said?
I missed it.
Haniger said that he did that. He shaved his head one day, and then it never came back.
Well, and to Haniger's defense, that's a concern I get every time I go to get my haircut. Should we take some off the top? And I'm like, minimal, because you're afraid.
Let's plant some hair in there, please.
You don't know if it's ever going to come back. But yeah, no, it is so cool. I think the numbers on that puck is absolutely amazing. I think it's like plus 17,000 people over the years have got their Buhner buzz cuts.
Very cool. I'm glad they brought it back. That was awesome. You know what was also awesome, since it was Jay Buhner, it was Buhner Buzz Night. And of course he wore number 19, number 1 in your hearts, and number 19 in your program. They struck out 19 times last night. Just when you're feeling good, they give us a little reminder. But you take 3 out of 4 against the White Sox, three incredible wins. Crazy.
And then you get set for these are the weekends I get nervous, Puck. The sellout on Sunday. It's almost sold out Friday. How many times have we been down this road? How many times have we been down this road before, Puckett, where you pull in 100,000 fans in there, and God, I just and finally I feel okay because of this pitching staff that you're not gonna get swept. It's gonna be really hard to sweep this team with this pitching staff. It really is.
But you know what you touched on, though, because they do that. They God, and we can say it here, okay? It's fine because we're not censored. They can cock tease you a lot, okay? They do. They just, Chris, cover your ears. King 5, don't get mad at Chris. Get mad at me. But they do that to you, and then you get teased a lot with them, and you're like, come on, man. And then they fall kind of flat on their face. I don't think they're going to fall flat on their face.
No, and here's the big difference between this team and years in the past. Because if you don't realize this hasn't happened in the past, then you haven't been following this Mariners team. Because Puck and I have seen this before, like sellout crowds for the weekends, and then. This is a first-place team. In the years past, that was not a first-place team with sellout crowds. It was a team that was making a run. It was a team that was close. It was a team that was going to, this is the weekend where they could get, within a game. This is a team now with a 5.5-game lead in the West over the Texas Rangers. So it's a little different. And this is a team that just continues to throw out every single night a starting pitcher that can keep you in the game. And I can't overemphasize that enough. And even give credit. We talked about this, Puck, during spring training, you and I, about the importance of like an Emerson Hancock, just having somebody in Tacoma, because for you to think that you're going to get through a season with your 5 starters healthy, then you just don't know baseball. And you don't know baseball nowadays because these guys are going to need some time off.
Somebody tweeted me, when after Julio hit the home run, put like a chart up of things that you don't understand. Like, he basically just said, checkbox for you. You don't understand baseball after the Julio home run. I said, you know what? F you, man. F you. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody likes to become an expert on baseball,
Sure.
and we're game changer for their kids' games, so they just think they
Oh,
understand it. They understand it better than anybody. I mean, I love my wife, and she's on her third uh, tomato juice drink while my son is pitching, and they take the lead.
wait a minute. Hold on.
And
What do you mean what is she drinking? What?
it's a noon game. We got 8,000 kids around us screaming, dancing a baby shark, and her son's pitching. So I'm like, you need to go get a drink, to
Yeah,
relax a little bit.
Get a cocktail.
So she gets
shot.
the tomato juice one where they put a pickle in there and olives and vodka and stuff like that. And I think she's on her third one because she's just nervous. But God bless her. I love her. She's like the greatest mom in the world. And I'm so superstitious, Puck, and he's still pitching, and they've taken the lead. He went in, and they were down 3-0, and now they're up 5-3. And she turns to me and goes, so does he get the win now? And I'm like,
well, not anymore since you jinxed it. Not going to get the win now.
I go, are you literally just asked me that question, honey? She goes, what do you mean? What did I do? And I felt so bad.
Melanie.
And sure enough, he leaves with a 5-3 lead, but they tied it up to 5-5. And then she goes, well, what does that mean now? And I go, well, it means he can't get the win now, honey. That's what that means.
Okay. What's wrong with Melody? I mean, Austin's been pitching since he was like 7 years old and playing.
I think she was just so excited. She was so excited for her little baby to be out there, throwing.
Yeah, and you know this, right? You know this, and like any parent out there, right, knows this. Watching your child, let's say softball or baseball, watching your kid pitch is the most nerve-wracking thing that you can possibly do as a parent. Other than you and I have talked about this before, like my daughter does gymnastics and watching her, because it's all solo, right? But specifically watching them do the beam routine. Nothing that there is now. That's only a minute though. It's like a minute and then it's over. But the panic and the dread and just the nerves watching that. But then when you watch baseball or softball, you're like, well, it's for the whole game. It's for 2 hours.
Oh, it's just everybody has a different perspective. I remember once he gave up a hit to right field, and I think it was my dad's like just screaming like, right fielder's got to make that catch, Chris. He's got to make that catch. I go,
and the right fielder's dad is sitting right next to you.
Unless the right fielder dives headfirst into the wall, he's not making the catch. So everybody's protective of their own kid, but it's a fun ride. And I'll say this, just enjoy this. And here's the Facebook world where you get the photos that pop up, Puck.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Got
a photo of like I coached a team called the Puyallup Pilots, and we were taking on a team, the Cal Ripken All-Stars. I still remember this. And I look at the picture, and I look at the picture. There's 24 kids in this picture. And I look back to that day when they're 12 and all these parents so proud about how their kid at that point was the best pitcher or the best at this.
Oh, yeah.
And our kid was okay. I mean, he loved baseball. He was not big. And I looked at that picture, Puck, and there's 24 kids, and there's only 2 of them still playing baseball. And so I would my warning to parents that are out there, enjoy the moments when they're 12 and 13. But don't get too excited if your kid is the best player at 12 and 13. Make sure they're continuing to work hard at it because you know what? And nothing against any of those kids that are not playing baseball. Maybe they've gone on to different paths in their lives and they're finding success elsewhere. But God, I still remember this day, so many parents out there just so proud about how dominating their 12 and 13-year-old were, and it's just like it's a long ride and just take that for what it is.
How down some parents can get, right? At 10 and 11 and even 12 about how, oh my God, Mikey or little Johnny is behind. I need to go and I need to double down and get all these private lessons now.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't get left behind. And it's just like, it's okay. It's going to be fine.
Oh, and
it will work itself out.
We just played my youngest kid. We played in an Auburn Summer League team. We're a young team. We were playing an older team, an Auburn team that's really good. It was like 26-2 at one point. And I had to tell these kids, you're playing older kids, number one. Number two, it's okay to lose once in a while and show where you're at. And number three, you know what? Give these guys credit. This Auburn team's really, really good. And you guys should just use this to get better. And so many people want to just like, we got to find a easier league for these guys. And I'm like, well, I mean, that doesn't help. It doesn't help you out at all. And I hate when people complain about, here's the other thing I hate is like, you guys shouldn't have beat us that bad. I'm like, you want kids not to play? I mean, I don't know. It's just,
well, it's the whole culture of like whatever league you're in. I mean, this happens like at our Boys and Girls Club. You get up by a certain amount of points, like 20 points in basketball, and then they turn the clock off or they turn the scoreboard off. I'm like, why? Like these kids, they're keeping score on the sideline. They know what the score is. It's okay.
Yeah, and you don't make excuses. I told our boys last night, you got beat really bad. It's okay. You got better. You got better tonight. You played a team that's really, really good. They're stronger. They're bigger. And you know, and sometimes, I don't know, different parents will try to make excuses for their kids. And it's whatever. You know, that's another.
I got a question for you, okay? It happened last night, and it's been happening too much, and it's too frequent at these Mariner games, okay? As they start their 3-game series here with the Rangers today. And by the way, look at this. See, they still are in first place. Yeah, and you goddamn right I still read a newspaper.
I love
like
that, Puckett.
Okay, I like reading a newspaper. It's just, it makes me feel comfortable. This is why, the only reason why, though, by the way.
I love that.
Why I get a newspaper still, it's for the box score. Because I just like looking at the box score.
You are Puckett. You are the true baseball Americana fan.
I love it. I love a good box score.
You know, before you talk about the battle, what you saw at the baseball club, besides seeing you there with the newspaper, you know what makes me so excited is when I go to a baseball game and I see a dad or a grandpa, or it could be a mom or his daughter with the scorebook.
Oh, yeah.
Doing the old school score in the game. And, I mean, that
a few years ago, I think, more than a few years ago, I tried to get my daughter to do it. Like, hey, we're going to sit down and we're going to score the game. It was like 1 inning, and she's like, I'm going to go get some ice cream, so I'll see you later.
Yeah, she wasn't going to have that, no.
She didn't care about it. But yes, the Mariners are still up 5.5 games there on the Texas Rangers. That's what my newspaper tells me. And it tells me all the pitching matchups today, too. And yes, I know I can look at it online. But no, what I was going to ask you, 2 things about the M's, and then we can move on. Because it's Father's Day coming up on Sunday. I need to hear some Ed Egan stories.
Okay? Oh, yeah.
I need some Ed Egan stories before we cut you loose.
Thousands of them, yes.
Oh, thousands. Nothing gets more traction on this thing than when you tell stories about your father. But the wave. We've got, I don't know where you stand on it, but we have got to stop the wave at these baseball games. Yeah. Please, for the love of God, whoever is doing it, and there's friends and family members, you know who they are. Yeah. Rope them up and get them to stop doing the wave. It's just not football. Stop it.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a Husky Stadium event. This was a Seattle Seahawks Kingdome event. Sure. We could go back and forth to debate that, Puck, between Husky Stadium and the Kingdome, but this is just say no. We don't need that to take this team to the World Series.
Chris, these idiots are doing it when we're on defense and pitching. They did it last night. And I can't remember who was on the mound last night. Whoever was on the mound last night. He's in his windup, and then comes right around in his view is the idiots going all up and down.
I mean, if 8,000 school children in Edmonton know not to do the wave and Baby Shark when their team is pitching, come on, Seattle. Come on, Seattle. I mean,
you're with me. No wave.
No, if you want to do anything like that to throw off the opposing team's pitcher and play some music or just do something, that's fine. But when your team's out there playing defense, let's act like we know what we're doing there.
Okay, let's go. Is there the other thing I was going to ask you? Are you confident they're going to pull off a bunch of trades here at the deadline? I didn't want them to let Luis Robert Jr. leave and just sign him, or make a trade for him right then and there, and don't let him get on the plane.
I'm not confident. No, I'm not. I'm not. I mean, why would I be confident? Why would I be confident that they're going to do this? I mean, in their mind, they've made their big moves. They brought in Locklear. You know, Locklear was the guy they've been keeping an eye on, and so should they? Yes, 100%. Yes, get us, find us just. Any bad. Yes, Luis Robert should not have gone to SEA Airport. They should have kept him in.
They should have
in the PNW, and he showed why during this series. But
so damn good.
With all that said, I'm just not confident. I believe that this this management believes that we've got the defense, we've got the staff to do it, and I don't know. So.
All right, give me some. We got Father's Day coming up on Sunday. Our baseball reporter Ryan Divish, who is brought to you by Chalet Bowl every week, he's waiting in the lobby right now. But that's okay. No, I can make. Listen, he has got nothing. He's got nowhere to go. But I need some Ed Egan stories. The story you told me was last week or 2 weeks ago.
The party story
about pulling up in the station, the station wagon in the party. That was an all timer. But like my dad had a bunch of quirks, right? Like all dads, all people do. But my dad had one where, and I've told the story a million times, but I'll tell it next Father's Day. He enjoyed peeing outside. So he would get up from his chair. He would walk past the bathroom in our house to go behind like our flower or our garden in our backyard, and he would pee outside.
Smart man.
He just I would ask him why. I like peeing outside. It feels like freedom.
Yeah, I do too.
And he goes, I can kind of just wave it around and I'm good to go.
Yeah.
So that was his thing. I mean, he just liked peeing outside. It's so much that I enjoy peeing outside. My son now likes to go outside and pee. And he never met my father. Right? My father's passed years ago. But give me an Ed Egan funny story or quirk from you.
Well, following that up, I do like to pee outside too, and I'll actually find the mole holes because I've been told that they don't like that. So that's where I'll usually go. Ed Egan, love this guy to death. Fishing partner for life, him and my brother Brian. But gosh, he was my soccer coach, and maybe I was inspired to coach because my dad was my coach. I still remember being up at Northwood Elementary, and this is about 3 miles from our home. And I get kicked with a soccer ball right in the midsection. I think you know where we're going. And this is like that movie where you drop your first swear word of your life. And this I think I'm in 4th grade and drop the F-bomb in front of the entire soccer team. And Ed Egan just looks at me, goes, head on home. I go, what? Get out of here. You're done. Because we don't talk like this on that team. And I go, well, how am I going to get home? He goes, you got 2 feet, start walking. And this is like nighttime in beautiful North Hill, Edgewood, Washington. I still remember like it was like the walk of shame, if you will, on Game of Thrones. Like I'm walking home in my cleats and my green soccer outfit. And all the cars passing me because practice ended. So all my buddies are like rolling down their windows like, hey,
way to go, Egan. Hey, remind me, how far is the walk, did you say?
About 2.5 miles.
Okay, that's a good walk, yeah.
Good little walk home in your cleats. But you know what? I didn't swear out of practice ever again. I will say that. Let's see. My dad did set our house on fire twice during Christmas, which is all. And we had because he just tried to put too many boxes in the chimney area, and so we had the fire department come. But I'm trying to think one of my favorite dad moments. Oh, I mean,
did he
Oh, I got it. Here's one.
I mean, what was? No. Did he have something weird that he did at home?
He would get into games. I mean, he would dance during halftime of games at Puyallup High School. But one of my favorites, Puyallup High School. This is my junior year. We're playing in the district championships. And Damon Heward thought it would be a good idea if everybody went to his house and got their haircut in salute to Buhner Buzz Night. Okay. So we get to the Heward house. And we all sit down. And I said, I'll go first. I don't mind. And mind you, I have a lot of curly hair. So Damon shaves the left side, shaves the right side. And it's just like a gigantic. And everybody looks at me in the chair and they're like, let's maybe not do the haircut. And so literally the rest of the team bails on me, Puck. So I'm the only one on the Puyallup Viking team now with a shaved head. And this was supposed to be the whole team into it. I come home that night and my dad sees my hair and absolutely loses it. Just is so upset about how I look. To this day in the history of Puyallup history, no one except Ed Egan has ever called down to Mike Heward, the famous King Bowl coach, and lectured Mike Heward more than Ed Egan. I've never heard somebody going off on another parent more than Ed Egan did on that night. Just telling Mike Hewitt, how could you let this happen at your house, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, that's
to make
good.
things worse, the next night we play our big game, and I do pretty well. Saturday morning, you bring your newspaper out, front page of the News Tribune.
There we go. There it is. There's a picture of Chris Egan on it. There we go.
Who is on the front page getting a rebound with his hair sticking straight up in the air?
Yeah.
Yours truly. My dad grabs the paper and throws it away. This is like...
Because he was so upset about the hair.
He's like, you finally make the paper and you look like just an idiot on top of the paper.
God, I love your father. What biggest real quick, biggest thing you took away from your dad?
I think number one was just I love his coaching and all that, but I think number one is just he would always just tell me, work hard. Just work hard and stay out of the politics. And this is a guy that was traveled a lot for Weyerhaeuser. And traveling is not easy. I think everybody's like, oh, it's so cool. You're going to Paris and you got to go here. But I think what you lose track on is it's hard to be away from your family. It's hard to be away from your kids. And my dad just grinded. He did it for the family. And he went out there and worked and was probably one of the hardest workers I know. And I think everybody tries nowadays to get shortcuts. And I tell my kids this is like, you know what, if you want to succeed in life, just show up and work hard right now, because a lot of people don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody wants things handed to them. Everybody wants the shortcut way. Everybody wants to pour this. My dad never did that. He never complained once about having to travel, having to go to all these small, he was a Weyerhaeuser guy, Puck. And he worked in some hard situations, going to a lot of mills around the U.S. But God, I don't remember him once complaining. I never once whining. I never remember him coming back from a trip and saying, God, it's really tough out there. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Just never once. He just rolled up his sleeves and went to work. And I think that's something I just try to pass on to my kids is that, you know what, just go out there and work hard and then enjoy life. And that's what he's doing now. I think he retired really early, but you know what? Good for him. He was able to retire early, and now him and my mom go cruising all the time and spend all of our inheritance, but that's fine.
So this is why I got to work for the rest of the rest of my life.
Oh,
Thanks a lot, Ed Egan.
Another cruise, huh, Dad? Okay,
just another one, huh, fellas?
Yeah, have fun with you and Mom. No, and
that's funny.
Yeah, him and my mom are 80 years old now and still having fun. So,
what I was going to ask you real quick, you got plans on Sunday? What are we doing?
Well,
left alone or what?
It's funny. My wife's like, "Hey, Sunday's your day. It's Father's Day. What do you want to do?" And I said,
"Aren't we left alone?"
I said, "Aren't we getting up at 6 a.m. to go to Portland State for our daughter's graduation?" She's like, yeah, we are. Yes, we are. So, but you know what? That's a proud father moment there. Your daughter's graduating with a master's, so I wouldn't miss it. So, I'm excited to be there and bless my daughter's heart. I get back from Edmonton and she has the entire yard mowed. So early happy Father's Day right there for my daughter.
What a great daughter! I want to show you this before we had our end of the year Ballard Little League Fisher Plumbing party the other day. A tough year for the plumbers, but remember we had the golden plunger. That was after every run.
Yep.
And so the parents gave out many golden plungers to every kid, and then the coaches. Look at that. Pretty cool, huh?
Oh,
look at that.
Put that over your face a little. I got to see it a little bit better. Oh yeah, look at that.
Look at that.
What great moments, though, Puck. What about you?
Plunger.
What are you for Father's Day?
I want to be left alone. Leave me alone and let me watch golf in peace. That's all I want.
That's it.
That's it.
You don't need any food brought to you or anything like that?
I don't need any. They were asking, well, what can you get you? I'm like, I don't want anything. I don't want anything. I want to get up. I want to sleep in. I'll putz around. And I just want to kind of sit on the couch with my hands down my pants and watch a little golf. That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, a salute to you, Father. And I want to tell you the next guest, just to kind of give you where this is at right now and how big pucksports.com is.
We can welcome him on.
Well,
he's waiting in the lobby.
Let's welcome him in, because I want to, as I exit and he comes in, I want to give you two a shout out, because Usually I'll get my wife and her friends that will comment on our podcast.
Yeah.
But when I get to work, it's usually, hey, did you hear what Ryan Divish and Puckett said today? Did you hear what they said today? So people are listening to you too. And as the Mariners continue to make this run, I mean, it's like every word out of Divish's mouth is like, I mean, it's gold. They're just gold. I mean, it's gold.
We're gonna give this. We're gonna look. There he is. Speaking
Yeah.
of the devil,
Doesn't
there
he
is.
look happy? Doesn't he look just happy?
Hey,
Like
hey,
it's
Divish.
just. Oh, look at
Hey, Ryan Divish joins us right now. His weekly appearance is brought to you by Chalet Bolt. Why are you so angry?
I don't know. Why am I not angry? I'm angry every day because it took an hour and 10 minutes to get from Ording to Tacoma.
Hey, and whatever, are you next to like an air conditioner or something? Because whatever, you got a big buzz going on right now. Do you hear that, Chris?
I do. And here's
I'm at the UW Tacoma Y. You wanted to go live, so I had to find a place that works.
All right. Oh, now see, we got salty Divish now.
I don't know. It might be my computer too. My laptop apparently you can only watch so many OnlyFans before it just starts to really.
so many OnlyFans before they finally say, you know what, enough is enough.
Yeah, it's just like your computer only takes so much wear and tear.
An hour from Ording to Tacoma?
Yeah.
Did you go through Fife?
No. I took the back way through Military Road to the 512 because that was faster. Because this is hard hitting podcast that people want to know about.
Oh, it is. It is.
In southeast Pierce County traffic scenario, but the Ording Valley Highway to Sumner to the 410, it's just brutal in the mornings, and so
there's no easy way out.
Yeah, and then like there's still school going. Like, why in the hell is there still school going in this state? Montana's been done for 3 weeks. Like, maybe don't take 57 breaks throughout the year. Spring break, fall break.
Well,
feelings break, midwinter break.
If there's a centimeter of snow, it's a snow day. That's a snow day. You got to make that up. People forget about that. You got to make that up in June. It just adds onto the calendar.
We didn't grow up in the hard-hitting environment of Montana, Divish, so, leave us alone, all right?
Yeah, I mean, we're sensitive here, Divish.
In my hometown and in several towns in Montana, they have gone to the 4-day-a-week school because because so many of activities and stuff on Fridays, and kids are gone that like Fridays it became a pointless day because you can never really do anything because so many students are gone with school-sponsored activities. So they just went to 4-day-a-week school. They go 15 minutes longer each day. I think 15 or 20 minutes, which sucks when you're a substitute teacher because then that really feels like a long time. But yeah, they go 4 days a week, and so it's pretty nice. I mean, I would have liked that as a kid.
So would I.
I love it.
Egan, we'll cut
I'm out.
loose.
I got to go to Chipotle. I got to get my kids lunch.
Yeah, you do.
Really? Are you going to buy Mark Weiss lunch too while you're there? I mean,
no.
Slurp him on Twitter all the time.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm heading to Baloo Junior High. Are you? Well, speaking of that,
does Puyallup run NIL or
how
do they do that?
What? I mean, who's wearing the Curtis Vikings gear? I mean, is that a water polo? I mean, congrats on the water polo championship, Curtis.
All right. See you, Egan.
All right,
Talk to you next week. There he is.
Love you all.
Chris Egan, who joins us on Fridays. Egan is brought to you by Fat Zach's Pizza. Fat Zach's Pizza, 3 locations in Sumner, downtown Puyallup, South Hill, home of the original No Big Deal Pickle Pizza. You can also book 3 of their food trucks for catering, birthday parties, graduations, corporate events. Voted Best of the Sound 2 years in a row for Best Pizza. Find them on Facebook and also Instagram and Fat Zach's Pizza. How are you, sir? What's new?
Nothing. Just hanging out. Waiting to go work out. Act like I care about my physical condition on some level.
I think you always care about your physical appearance.
Yeah, not as much as some other people do, but
yeah.
I mean, like, so yesterday I had to go into the office for the first time in like a year to get my mugshot taken for the paper.
Okay.
And I still contend it's all because Baker got a new haircut and lost some lb, so he's looking better. He wants a new mugshot. And I looked at the pictures they took of me, and I look terrible. It's like you know how they like how a president ages quick, like with the two presidents we've had recently, you can't tell the difference because they were both old to start with.
Yeah.
But like Obama aged, you know, in the 8 years, I feel like that's me. I
Yeah.
feel like I have aged significantly.
I don't think whatever you do. Hey, I'm gonna on air produce for you. Whatever you're doing with your mic, just get the static off of it.
Well,
I don't know what you're doing.
I haven't done a thing with it.
I don't know. It sounds so staticky.
Does that sound better?
No, that sounds worse.
Does that sound better? No, because that
sounds
picks up
real-
the background. Like,
I don't know what you've done with it, but
I didn't do a thing with it.
it's you know what though, I'm glad this is happening since we're doing it live.
I think it's because it's live. My guess is it's your fault.
It's not my fault. Don't blame me.
Oh yeah.
This is on you. Well, we'll work through the technical difficulties. It's okay.
I don't. Yeah,
You don't hear it in your headsets.
no, I absolutely hear it, but like, I absolutely hear it, but like, it's all I got is I have it plugged in. I don't know.
I don't know. Plug it out and you can take it out and just go on your computer. Maybe that would sound even better. Now he has completely cut himself off. This is why I'm glad we've done this. There you go.
How is this?
It's way better. Way
Okay.
better. I'm so glad that we figured this out. That was so much
Do you want
better.
do you want me to complain some more about having to get my mugshot taken and how old I look and how weathered I look?
No, I want you to talk about the baseball team last night. This is I think we're on episode 160 with you. The great Ryan Divish, who joins us every single week. And Divish is, of course, brought to you by Chalet Bowl. Shout out to Reggie Frederick and Chalet Bowl that bring you Ryan Divish every single week. They couldn't, I'll get back to the mugshot because I do want to hear more about that. But they couldn't pull out another miracle yesterday, could they?
No,
they had the first three, but they couldn't do the next one.
Yeah, no. I was listening to a former station that you and I were both on.
Yes.
And the interim host was talking about how Josh Rojas should have tried to turn a double play. I can't. There's no way. He had no chance. It was a slow roller. He had to charge so hard to get it to cut down the distance that if he has to throw across his body and try and get the out at second, and then the odds of turning that double play are, I'm not going to go there.
Oh, but slim to none. Do you think he had a shot at home? I mean, I didn't think he had a shot at home.
He made the one play that he could make. And the one thing is if you don't get an out in that situation, you're probably giving up 2 runs.
Yeah.
So get an out some way. You know?
Yeah, he was in a tough situation. I'm with you. I don't think anything that he did last night warranted any criticism. He made the right play. You can even he got it. He looks right at home real quick. He knows that he couldn't make the play, and he goes to first. Yeah, I got no problem.
Because he charged the ball to cut down the distance because it wasn't hit very hard.
Right.
So how are you? So you're charging forward, and then you want him to throw across his body to second base in hopes of turning a double play. And granted, Andrew Vaughn does not run very well, but the risk reward, because again, you're giving up a run in that situation. But the risk reward is if you don't get any outs and you give up more than one, logically you think with a runner on second to start an inning in the bottom of the inning, you can get at least 1 run to tie it and keep the game going. They couldn't do that, but yeah, I didn't for 1 second, I watched that play, think, oh yeah, he should throw to second and try and get the double play. He either had one play. It was either at home or at first, and he didn't have a play at home because the guy was running on contact and the ball wasn't hit very hard.
That is Ryan Divish. It is episode 161 with Ryan Divish. His weekly appearance is brought to you by Chalet Bowl, Washington's oldest operating bowling alley, established in 1941, located in Tacoma's Proctor District. Family owned and operated 40 years. The Frederick family and staff specializes in customer service for your bowling, food, and fun experience while at their unique 12-lane facility. Go to chaletbowl.com to make your next reservations. Divish is on the road. He is up at, where are you doing the show from today?
I'm at the UW Tacoma Y.
Okay, UW Tacoma Y. You're going to get a workout in, maybe run a little 5-on-5. What are we doing?
Yeah, no, it looks like Malachi Flynn and some of the some of the college players that are here that live in Tacoma, and pro players that live in Tacoma are doing workouts on the court. So
Oh, okay. So
I'm gonna
maybe
go find.
go pick that up and
No,
give it a shot.
I'm gonna go find some pink weights and do like a hit from YouTube. Last time I played pickup hoops here, I stepped on Isaiah Thomas's foot and
Ooh.
shredded my my meniscus a little bit more than it already was. Took the last remaining shreds and turned them sideways.
Look at this hard copy. Great story today. Look at that. Great story you did. Let me angle it up. Great story on Jay Buhner, Buzz Knight. Wonderful job there, Ryan Divish of the Seattle. Get yourself a hard copy, folks. Go get pay the money and get yourself a hard copy. It just feels better there in your hands. And then they honored him last night. Did they, Jay Buhner, by striking out 19 times. I thought that was nice.
Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, everybody's, they got to fix the strikeouts. How? That's what they do. Some days it'll be better. Some days it's not going to be good. And Crochet was really good.
That's just they strike out. I mean, that's it, right? You're 100% right. I mean, there's no way at this point in the season they're going to be able to fix that or rectify their strikeouts. It's just who they are. It's how they've been constructed. It's just how they've been built.
Yeah, I mean, if you think they're just going to start choking up and squatting low and getting the old Pete Rose stance to slap it to right, they're just not going to do that.
I love that, though.
Also, every time Riz says, they just got to punch that ball to right field, he should pay me $1.
You can't talk shit about Riz. Leave Riz
Come on,
alone.
he always says that all the time. I'm like, it's 98.
Hey, is there a way the Mariners could just acquire 3 of the White Sox players? Luis Robert Jr., Crochet, and then I would like Kopech. Can we get all 3? Is there a way to pull off all 3?
No, I'm not dealing with no man buns from Kopech. So.
Well, he throws hard, and they need some help in the bullpen.
Yeah. He throws hard, but it's pretty straight, and it gets hit more than you think.
I know he does, but
Crochet is good.
Jesus.
Crochet is going to run into the same things as Wu. I mean, he's never really thrown a lot in his career, thrown a lot of innings in his career because of injuries and other stuff. I mean, he was a reliever for his first two MLB seasons. But man, if he doesn't throw the changeup to Tyler Locklear, it's a 7 shutout.
Yeah, and then you noted that was the only time he threw the changeup last night.
Yeah. It was like, you're kind of like Bull Durham again. Like, go ahead, throw it if you want to throw it. But yeah, he didn't throw it again. He didn't need to. I mean, he threw, I think he had 91 pitches. I think he threw 70.
70s. I think you said 76 four-seam fastballs. Oh, and then of course he's going to freeze up on us.
Or 102 pitches. What?
You froze up for a quick second. It's okay. You're back with us.
102 pitches. I think 71 four-seam fastballs, and they were cooking. And the thing is he's got that weird leg kick, like the old school Sandy Koufax weird leg kick and some deception. And you could just see how late guys were on the fastballs. Like they're trying. They know it's coming. They just don't see it well, and then it's right on top of you. People, that's right in the zone. I don't give a shit if it's in the strike zone or not. It's 98. It's hard to pick up.
Did you see my favorite part of last night's game was when Savala complained about where the pitch was, and then they show it on the tracer, and God bless Dave Sims. Even Sims like, I don't know about that one, and then they show it. It's like right in the strike zone. And Blauer's like, oh, that's a strike.
Yeah,
it's right in the box. There's no complaining about it. And then of course I knew he was going to do it in the 9th inning. Because you scolded me for even bringing up whether or not is Julio Rodriguez clutch or not. I got Julio's fan club yelling at me nonstop on social media, and of course he hits a home run to right field. Now it wasn't a game-winning home run though.
Yeah, no, yeah. If you want to, I mean, I got other guys like, well, he's not, he's like, oh, he's not clutch. He struck out 4 times before that or whatever. I'm like, look. All I'm saying is in that moment, they needed something to happen. He made it happen. I'm not saying it happens every time. I'm not saying he's had a good year. He hasn't. But I think the idea that he fails in key moments, I don't know that he fails any more than anyone else. He might actually succeed more than anyone else in terms of at least not making an out. It's kind of like Jordan. We don't remember any of the shots that Jordan missed to win the game.
Sure.
You know, and he missed a bunch of them. We remember poor Craig Elo, or, you know, pushing off on what's the guy from Utah. You know, I mean, there's been plenty of games where, you know, same with Kobe or whatever. You know, like,
Yeah, but I think to count. Let me, if I may just counter that point. Julio doesn't have a lot of those game-winning moments, though.
No, he hasn't. You know, he hasn't had those, and you know, that's kind of the difference being, I guess, in basketball versus baseball is, you know, basketball you have the ball in your hands and you can kind of control it. Baseball you don't. You're reliant on the other pitcher on the defense doing something to allow you to be the hero. But yeah, he hasn't had the moments like he should or probably expects. But you know, down the road he will. I think it'll get easier. Look at Cal Raleigh. I think it's been, you know, and even last night, I'm thinking, okay, they finally get Crochet out of the game, and they bring in this Brebbia guy, and Scott Service couldn't get Raleigh and Raleigh, the law firm, up to pinch hit fast enough. But you know, they struck out and popped out. So it happens. Like they're going to strike out.
I got to remind myself, and I think it was and I'll steal a line from the great Chris Crawford, and he said, you know, hey, we got to remind ourselves a lot that he's only 23 years of age.
Yeah.
I you know, I sometimes, not sometimes, I do. I lose sight of that with him.
23 years of age, never played a game of AAA, did he?
You tell me. I don't think he did. No.
Well, unless it was on a rehab assignment or something, he never played a game of AAA. You know, he went to the big leagues from AA in a year where nobody expected him to make the big leagues coming out of camp. He does it. He exceeded all expectations. So I still think there's some growing pains, some identity, like figuring out his identity. And then, you know, I'm sure if you held him to a polygraph, he would say that some of the swing changes and stuff that he made this offseason were a mistake. Maybe It's not like, you know, and it's results-based analysis. I'm sure the thinking in it that went into it and the reasoning why had some legitimacy. You know, when he talked about it, it was just like being under control, not having his head move as much, you know, all these things. Like, it all made sense in the thinking behind it, maybe even in the process, but it's just different once you get to games, and it wasn't working. So then he had to readjust in season, which is one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah. Let's get to Brian Wu. What do we know? What is the latest on Brian Wu? Do we expect him back in the rotation next week?
Yeah, I'd expect him to start in Cleveland. I don't know how that would slot out, if it's the first game or the second, but that's my expectation, is to have him. He'll pitch in Cleveland. You know, provided he doesn't have any more injury issues or the arm feels okay, he can do he can throw his midweek bullpen. You know, I would assume, like, you know, once he throws that bullpen, then they'll slot it out 2 or 3 days after that. But they sent down Emerson Hancock right now. So, you know, he made a nice start. He gave them 7 innings, allowed 2 runs, and he'll go back down. So that, to me, that their thinking is that, yeah, Wu's going to make that next start. Now, they can always bring Hancock back if they have to put Wu on the injured list. Like, let's say he throws his bullpen, just doesn't feel right again. They can put Wu on the injured list and bring Hancock back, and it'll be similar time. So 5 or 6 days from now is what I would assume, just so they can keep Hancock on the same time frame.
Now, this might be stupid just because of the situation there with Wu. Could Hancock be on the move at some point as we get closer to the deadline?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, they have Jonathan Diaz too. I mean,
Right.
I did ask if they would switch Logan Evans back to starting, and Hollander said no, they're going to keep him as a reliever. So, yeah, I mean, that's possible. I don't know that, like, you know, to me, Emerson's been good this year, better than I expected, but I don't know that he brings you back a lot. Yeah, if it was in a package of players. But the Mariners have some other pitchers, you know, in their system that they could package in a deal if they were looking to make it out of bat. A team wanted starting pitchers. They have kind of like lower level ones, because really the guy, like if you're trading with the White Sox, they don't need guys that are MLB ready right now. That team is 2 or 3 years away from being good. 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, no, I mean you're right. No, for sure. Okay, I want to get back to Wu for a second here. We on Wednesday's show we talked just about this, and I did said no, I'm not going to ask you about the bullpen, and I'm not going to ask you about whether or not Wu should go in the bullpen now, not this season. But do you think when they get to the offseason with him, because when they get in the playoffs, I'm going to assume they're in the playoffs, but when they get in, he's not going to pitch, he's not going to start, so he is going to come out of the bullpen. Do you think they revisit the idea of him being in the bullpen? He's got 2 pitches. I know he throws the changeup, so he's got 3, but he really only primarily has 2 pitches that he throws. Ryan, he has had this inability to really stay healthy. You noted the other day he has not pitched a lot in his career, going back to college. I think he even said high school, and now in the professional ranks. Is it something that you think that they will revisit once this season is over?
Maybe. I mean, they could look at it and see how he comes out of the bullpen. But again, like, bullpen outings in the postseason are a hell of a lot different than bullpen outings in the regular season, because you have to be, bullpen outings in the postseason. There's days off. There's scheduled days off. You can project. You can use it. It's different versus in the regular season where you got to be available 6 out of the 7 days to pitch.
Right.
If you pitch, how you ever space it out. And the idea of him, to me, the idea of him being able to pitch on back-to-back days or even 3 out of 4 days, I don't see how that makes his elbow any better or the forearm issues any better. I think there's some, they'll look at it, and I think they're trying to figure out a way to just kind of make him feel right in between starts and make that arm recover quicker. And I think that's, you exhaust all possibilities as a starter until it forces you to be a reliever. Because maybe not as much success this year, but the Mariners have been able to find relievers or make good relievers, some reclamation projects and stuff like that. So I think, you wait till the last possible minute, because there are other guys in their organization like this Troy Taylor kid and even Ty Cumming that could be relievers that down the road that, profile as relievers, and they're not converting a starter that way.
Yeah. Has Wu ever talked about it at all? Has it ever been brought up to him? And maybe you wouldn't do it now, but maybe spring training, or broached with the idea of coming out of the bullpen?
No, not really. I mean, I think for some people, the thought was that because he hadn't thrown a lot in his career, that somehow and he had the Tommy John early, that maybe it would keep him healthier. He wasn't that travel ball guy throwing 140 every other weekend, but I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say what they're going to do in that situation. I mean, he did throw 123 innings combined last year, I think. That's a lot. I mean, he jumped from 60 to 123, essentially. He doubled. I think, the wear and tear of last season, I think, is part of the reason we're seeing some issues this year. I mean, even if you have all that time to recover, that's a lot.
Yeah, that is combined. I mean, they look at it differently, right? When I was looking at it the other day, I'm looking at the 87 innings that he threw with the Mariners. Do they evaluate those innings differently compared major league innings and then to minor league innings?
Yeah, because you can control you can control the minor league innings a little bit. And I mean, early on, he's still throwing innings. It's not like in spring training where they can just kill the inning, or pull him and then put him back in. But yeah, they are a little different. Either way, I mean, 87 innings and at the MLB level, you could say those are probably higher stress, and those count more in your total than anything else, especially when you've never done it before,
right.
Your first time at the big leagues. So I don't know. I mean, I think. I think they're just going to try and keep him as a starter and see if the process of in between starts and coming out of starts can be cleaned up or fixed to where he doesn't feel this moving forward.
What is it? What is he grappling with or not being able to get ready in between those innings? What is he doing? What's his routine? Do you know what it is? And what is he trying to do?
Well, I mean, I think he's just trying to do a similar routine to most players, and just you throw the day after light toss, and kind of build up to the bullpen, and you have whether some guys long toss a little bit more.
Yeah, but isn't Ryan? Let me jump in. Sorry to interrupt, but what isn't his issue in between, in the innings in the game? Isn't that what he's talked about the most often?
No, not. He talked about that once.
Okay.
He's had some forearm stiffness when, forearm tightness or stiffness when they've had like extended breaks. Like the Mariners put together a big inning or whatever, and he sits for a long time, and those are pretty rare. But like the last couple times, it's been after he comes out of the start. The next day it's tight, and then when he gets ready to throw his midweek bullpen or his in-between start bullpen, it doesn't feel right. It still feels tightness or some fatigue or soreness or whatever, like it's in the forearm area. So then they just kind of say, well, then don't do that. Like they don't want you throwing off the mound when you don't feel right. So I think that's what the last few times have been. It's just like it just doesn't feel right or feel 100% when he comes out. Whereas, 2 days after a start, you should be able to, play normal catch and kind of get on the mound, throw at 80% to kind of keep the feel of your pitches. And he wasn't able to do that a couple times.
Okay, let's pivot now to Luis Robert Jr. I was begging for them not to let him get on the plane and leave. He clearly can show he can hit in this ballpark. It doesn't bother him. Let's go back to the asking price for him here in about a month span. And I think you noted this on Wednesday or even last week. Do you think it's something similar to what you said about Vlad Guerrero? Or what do you think the price is to acquire Luis Robert Jr.? And do you think it's a good fit for Seattle?
Yeah, it's kind of like the sliding scale almost. Like with Vlad, you have this year and then next year, and it's a little bit more money. With like Robert, it's 2.5 years or 3.5 years. There's some option years, and then the options are club options are kind of spendy at $20 million, but like early on, it's not like cost prohibitive. So like and the difference being like Vlad posts and he plays every day, whereas like Robert's been hurt. So that's like your sliding scale. The crazy hot scale that they use for girls. Like you're here. You can be this if you're this hot, you can be this crazy.
Yeah, sure. You can be hot and crazy, and as long as you're hot.
Yeah. So they call that the Tawny Katane theorem.
Oh man, come on.
So
Tawny Katane was hot back in the day.
Yeah. So I think.
Hey, time out. Is she still with us?
No, she's not.
That's right. She passed away, right?
Yeah.
Well, rest in peace.
Yeah. Somewhere David Coverdale weeps. Or is relieved. Chuck Finley.
Yeah. It was Chuck Finley. Didn't she damage his car? What did she do to Chuck Finley?
I think she...
Didn't she assault him?
Yeah, she hit him with some sort of implement, maybe a bat.
A bat. I think it was a bat. I think she hit him with a bat.
Yeah, he had to miss a start because she beat him up, and then she went after like his Corvette or something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I think tried to start it on fire. So I don't know.
Okay, so let me get back to Luis Robert Jr. Okay, is a Harry Ford still involved in a trade?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like that's 2 or 3 years down the road. Is it Celestine or is it,
Is it Emerson? Does it take Ford and Emerson and someone else to get Luis Robert Jr.?
I mean, that's what they're going to ask for. You always ask for the moon.
Sure.
In case somebody's dumb enough to give it to you. But, like, I think the Mariners know, like, if they really want Robert, it's going to be Ford. It's probably going to be one of the infielders.
Okay.
Maybe it's like, maybe if you're the Mariners, you try and goose it by saying, like, you go fantasy baseball route where it's like, you give more, but not as high quality. So, like, say they give Ford, but they're willing to give up, like, Ty Pete and this Michael Arroyo kid who are good prospects, but not top 100, plus maybe a pitcher. You go the quantity over, like, the high quality. I don't know that the White Sox are dumb enough to do that with their new GM. Previous GM, maybe. So, that's the thing. And I mean, and to some people's point, like, you can sit there, some people say, well, like, oh, you don't want to give up any prospects. Well, that's not logical. But another person sit there and say, well, I don't care, give them all up. Well, that's not logical either. And it's not just to follow the 54% theorem of, like, I mean, you don't want to gut it to the point where what you do to try and win kills you for the future. even if you trust your draft and development guys a lot, there's a breaking point where the ask is too much, and it's like what you're willing to pay for beer at a game. I have yet to reach that breaking point. Like after the Pearl
Ooh.
Jam concert where it was $40 for 2 beers, $45 for 2 beers, but there is a breaking point where you just say, okay, that's enough. We'll move on. And
You know
usually,
what? It's $15 for me. It's $15. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm just out. I'm just not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay it anymore. It's
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah, so it's just like, it's like when you go to a Belltown bar and order a Crown on the Rocks, it's like $17. I'm like, this ain't Vegas, bro. What club are we in?
It's
I didn't know
just-
I was in the VIP room.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I can't even believe I said Belltown because I don't know if I've ever been to a bar in Belltown.
Have you never been at Belltown Pizza? Come on.
No.
Sea
I
Sound
mean,
Lounge.
Ballard gets a little thrifty. That's why I go to
Of
the Lock and,
course.
that's why I go to the Lock and Keel because it's cheap.
I believe that's closing.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
One of them is closing. What's the one next door?
I don't know.
The two Irish bars that always have the live music. One of them's closing.
Yeah, I know that
think
Lock
it is
and
the
Keel.
Lock and Keel.
Oh, that hurts me.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, so with Robert, like, there's a point of no return, and I don't know. Like, to me, we can sit there. It's like people are like, oh, they're debating this and that, and some people like complaining about Robert's strikeouts. Again, that's the good with the bad. I mean, like the players you get, the players that are available, there's a reason why they're available. Either their team really sucks, or there's a reason why they don't want to move forward with them. I mean, there's like with Vlad or whatever, there's contract with Robert.
Yeah.
His team sucks, his health, like he's not a part of this. But yeah, I mean, like, I think to me it's so funny. It's like, because I was debating this with Adam and Larry. We're writing about this, and I liked Adam's
Listener
story.
and viewer, these are Adam Jude and Larry Stone, by
Yes.
the way.
And like, I liked Adam's story, and I thought it was well done, and he made some good points. But like, to me, anything that we've expected them to do, along the lines of trades or free agents, they don't come close to that because Jerry and Justin go in a different way. One, because they're working with parameters that we don't know about, whether it's budgetary or whatever. So like, I mean, and then like we talk with, holy cow, I'm looking at Alex Akita is walking in this gym.
Well, how about that? Get Akita on here. I mean, come on.
He's like, that guy's sweating walking in.
Well,
He's
yeah.
like,
Is he gonna go run some basketball? Can't wait.
yeah, I know. He looked like he just came from Buhner Buzzcut night. But no.
For Robert, let me ask you about this. Okay, he's the knock on him. Get past the strikeouts for a second, but the knock on him is the health. What about hustle, motivation, work ethic? What's that like?
I think it's okay. I mean, like, I don't know for certain. I don't have anybody once saying, "Oh, he's a dog" or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think also you get on this team and you're playing for something, it matters. I mean, like, the thing is just if you get him on the field, he hit 38 bombs, and if you hit 38 bombs, you don't care about a 27% strikeout rate if you get 38 bombs. That's like, strikeouts are one thing and they suck, but if you hit a bunch of homers, then it's okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, do you think that you are convinced they will do something, and you are still convinced that person, that Harry Ford, will be traded at the deadline?
I mean, like, I think that he's the most logical piece in terms of what they have to trade, what they have on their big league roster. And I don't think that they necessarily want to do it. It's just like, you have to give up talent to get talent. So
Right.
He would be a fit. One of the infielders will have to be traded, I'm guessing, one of their
Okay.
middle infielders. And you just hope, the thinking is you got to draft and develop. So to replace those guys. So yeah, I think so. I mean, again, it might not be the way we look at it. Maybe it's somebody on the Rays or,
Right.
the Rockies are so terrible. They don't ever trade anybody.
Sure.
But I do think too, they got to get a reliever. I don't care if Logan Evans comes up. I don't care if Santos comes back. You need to get another reliever. They just do.
When did Hollander give a timeline at all on Logan Evans?
No, he just kind of said they're hoping sometime around the All-Star break. It's probably largely based on how he pitches down there. He's been outstanding, but like, they build him up, so I think he's had 3 or 4 relief appearances. When you see him go 2 out of 3 days or else back-to-back days, that's when you know they'll be ready.
Okay. And Santos?
Still moving along. I mean, I would think by the All-Star break. He hasn't gone. He's thrown off the mound, but he hasn't gone out until he gets out into a rehab situation. You can't. And I would imagine he'll make 5 rehab appearances before he comes back.
Where are we at? Where are we at with Ty France?
He hit in the cage yesterday, so I expect him to be back here rather quickly.
Hey, I'll say this real quick. Whether he's been working with Perry Hill or whatever the deal is, you know, the knock on Locklear was he's not that really good defensively over first base. He's looked pretty good to me.
Yeah, he's been adequate. I mean, like, you know, the ball, the knock on Locklear and Bliss isn't the spectacular or the tough plays, you know, whatever you take those. Perry Hill calls them the plays in the box, 2 steps to your right, 2 steps to your left. What you deem as largely routine or plays that need to be made.
Correct.
That's what they kind of, you know, that's where they've struggled, the ball at them. I mean, we saw Locklear the other day go to the glove side or the first base side, and you know, the ball gets past them. You know, it was ruled a hit. Does Ty France catch it? Maybe. I don't know. Scout texts me, he's like, well, that's the one, you know, a play's got to be made when you don't hit enough, when your team doesn't hit enough.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think they've improved because they've bought into what Perry Hill's teaching them. And I do think, too, like when you're up here working with him every day, you get better quicker, too.
Yeah. All right, last thing for you. It's Father's Day on Sunday. You got a funny story? Does your dad have a funny quirk? I've told this many times before. My dad would pee outside. He preferred to urinate in our backyard. Your dad do anything funny? Anything odd that you can recall growing up in beautiful Havre, Montana?
Well, like when we built this house or whatever, and he had his backyard, and it was perfect for like backyard wiffle ball.
Yeah.
I mean, it was beautiful. But my dad treated that backyard and his yard like Augusta National.
Oh, beautiful.
And so we weren't allowed to walk on the grass ever. Like we couldn't play on the grass. You couldn't put a pool up. You couldn't put a slip and slide. You couldn't play wiffle ball. He was like, go play in the street. He literally told us to go play in the street.
Well, there's no one in the street. It's a town of like 5 people.
And then if it wasn't the street, he said, well, we had this open field. And so he went out there and like kind of dug up some of the weeds and stuff. And he goes, here's a baseball field. There's rattlesnakes out there. He goes, run faster.
All right. You told us this week you're what are you, dad rad?
Step rad. Yeah.
Step rad. Yeah. What, we got anything planned? Are you going to get something? I mean,
No.
Father's Day, you're not going to get anything?
No,
okay.
no.
You want anything?
No.
Okay.
I want to be 10 years younger. Can you do that? Got a time machine?
We can. I just want to be left alone to watch golf. That's all I want.
That's all I want too. I barely watch the U.S. Open.
I know. Well, first of all, you can't watch it because there's some idiotic decision. They put it on a Peacock, so no one can find it. There's no replay of the damn thing. And then Golf Channel has ruined Live From. They didn't even do Live From last night, or they did it once and there's no re-air of it. I can't get my Brandel take. And it's awful. They've ruined whatever this U.S. Open is, and it's a great leaderboard. You got Cantlay's at 5 under now. Bear is at 5 under. My guy DeChambeau finished with a 69 today. He's 1 shot off the lead. Rory is at 3 under. So it's a great leaderboard. But can we watch the goddamn golf, please?
I can't deal with Cantlay. He plays slower than Curtis. I mean, he.
Oh,
really
that's a close one. Yeah.
Curtis gets mad when we say this too.
He's
really
slow.
I mean, he'll be
He's
listening.
a slow.
Curtis
golfer.
Will be listening to this podcast at like 2:30 or 3 in the morning when he's working out at
on his way to LA Fitness.
Yeah. So, but then I'll get a text at like 3 in the morning. Shut up, you're an ass.
Yeah.
No, like I still play faster than you. Like whatever.
Oh God,
but,
it's this when he does the putting.
Yeah.
Oh God. Just hit the ball. All right, you're the best. Thank you for doing a live edition today.
Not a problem.
Okay, we're out of our comfort zone. We did the Daily Puck Drop was live with special guest Chris Egan, who joins us every Friday here at Puck Sports. His weekly appearance brought to you by Fat Zach's Pizza, and of course we do Ryan Divish every Friday as well, and every Wednesday brought to you by Chalet Bowl. Shout out to chaletbowl.com. Make your next reservation for bowling, family, and fun there at Chalet Bowl. Big thanks to Reggie Fedrick and the family there at Chalet Bowl. All of these, the Daily Puck Drop, Chris Egan, Ryan Divish will all be podcast later wherever you find your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, And, of course, everything at pucksports.com. You're the best. Go get a workout in, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, sounds good, man. See
All
ya.
right, we'll talk to you on Monday. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. As always, we promise to be better.